So yeah, here's Tom Cotton, being a baby.
Now the Thanksgiving season is upon us, and once again, we have much to give thanks for. But this year, we ought to be especially thankful for our ancestors, the Pilgrims, on their 400th anniversary.
Our ancestors.
I'm sorry, that's just like that's a child on their 400th anniversary.
And
we.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
This.
Our ancestors. Yeah, and what about the Native Americans in this country?
That's the point, is like, I exactly right. Like, I would make a case for a certain type of, patriotism, but that includes looking at like Squanto as our ancestor too, not just these psycho, Puritans that frankly, like, just to get into this before Tom Cotton goes on a little bit more, we started celebrating Thanksgiving during the Civil War as something to unify us, but it was basically the Northeast saying, hey, we're the real America, right? Like, there was all sorts of different colonies. There was New Amsterdam, Virginia, and, Puritans had some to say over the Virginia ones because that was more of a slave society, but like, it also wasn't fair or anything at all. Like, the Mayflower Compact was only men who got to vote in that, right? And that's the
landowning men, right? Was that the Mayflower? Or maybe that was just the initial constitution of who could vote.
Right, because it was men who came over, and it was there was some other men who weren't like Puritans, like they were more like the piratical types. But the ones who took the compact, they were. I think they were definitely like more wealthy than the typical like Englander was. They were very educated there, and so it was a very elitist thing. It wasn't like we're gonna let we're half workers, and so we're gonna let them have an equal vote. That's not remotely what this is. And so anyway, I'm gonna let Tom go a little bit more.
Their faith, their bravery, their wisdom places them in the American pantheon.
Now, imagine saying words like pantheon and then saying also this is not a myth, but anyway.
Alongside the patriots of 1776, the Pilgrims of 1620 deserve the honor of American founders. Sadly, however, there appear to be few commemorations, parades, or festivals to celebrate the Pilgrims this year.
Wait, hold on. There's few Thanksgiving literally there's the entire U.S. culture is about watching this one parade on Thanksgiving Day that's been held for how many decades?
No one wants to wear those little hats. No one wants to wear those funny little hats. Sorry.
It's also funny that he can't even pretend that Thanksgiving celebrates the Native Americans as well as the Pilgrims, right?
Yeah. Right, it's them on the boat before they even got there for Thanksgiving.
Like, this is the myth. This is the myth of Thanksgiving, right? That the Pilgrims and Indians getting along, no genocide happening here, and he can't even commit to that myth enough to say it and pretend he believes it for a second. Because guess what? It's not true, and he knows that.
Right. Well, that's why Tom Cotton and all of right-wing media, the Federalists and everyone today is talking about the Mayflower Compact. But the Mayflower Compact isn't Thanksgiving. That's the two different historical events. The Mayflower Compact is like this compact they took on the boat to say, hey, we can't get all the way to Virginia, so let's stop here in Massachusetts.
Right.
And also come together democratically. In a sense, it's way more. Say this about the Mayflower Compact: it's way more democratic than the current Republicans are. Like in terms of sanctity of votes and stuff, even though it was exclusive. But anyway, here we go.
As revisionist charlatans of the radical, perhaps in part because revisionist.
Okay, also, sorry. There's no parades because of coronavirus. It's not the leftists have finally won the war on Thanksgiving this year.
But this is what we're seeing now. They've moved on from war on Christmas. It's more just like culture war nonsense that isn't connected to actually anything that affects people politically. Like, at least the left's culture war stuff is about race and things that are connected to improving people's lives. Like, this is just made up nonsense.
That said, after the rev, we are not going to celebrate Indigenous Genocide Day. Sorry.
No, it's going to be Indigenous Peoples Day.
Also, a small addendum to what he's saying. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade actually is still going on. It's just going to be a bit different. Like, they're actually still putting one together to air on television.
That's so stupid.
Yes, exactly. So, and look, they put up the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center too. And talk about, New York's rising coronavirus rate of infection. I mean, we're literally going to put that giant Christmas tree that attracts thousands upon thousands of people each day to that super small, cramped alleyway of space in Rockefeller Center. I mean, but no, we got to uphold these traditions. It makes what Tom Cotton's talking about even more ridiculous. In the face of a once-in-a-century global pandemic, the United States of America is still going out of their way to do these things just to keep the traditions alive.
Yeah, but just for the record, we are going to change this this culture. Only after we give the land back to the Native Americans are we really allowed to celebrate our. I say our, like my ancestors did this. My ancestors came through Ellis Island, but sure, the white man's relations with them.
I legit had an ancestor on the Mayflower, so I'm definitely.
I want to get to this later, but I wonder if Cotton did too. There's a candidate, but let's continue with Cotton.
Yeah.
Perhaps in part because revisionist charlatans of the radical left have lately claimed the previous year as America's true founding. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Pilgrims and their compact, like the founders and their declaration, form the true foundation of America. So count me in Coolidge's camp. On this anniversary, a century ago, he proclaimed, "It is our duty and the duty of every true American to reassemble in spirit in the cabin of the Mayflower, rededicate ourselves to the Pilgrims' great work by re-signing and reaffirming the document that has made mankind of all the earth more glorious."
Yeah, okay, that's enough of that.
Shut up.
I just want to point out there was a minister named John Cotton in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, and he was the one who banished Roger Williams to Rhode Island because Roger Williams was saying things like, hey, the king can't just decide this is our land with what we call patent. We actually need to be fair and deal with the Native Americans. And so they're like, yeah, go to Rhode Island, please. So yeah, that I don't know if Tom Cotton is related to that John Cotton, but I could see where this sort of imperial authoritarianism comes from if he is descended from that John Cotton, who was also where Cotton Mather, people might know that name. That's where that name comes from.
Gotcha.
Would not be surprised.
I wonder if he is. That's a great point, Matt.
I don't remember which one of my relatives was supposedly on there, but I'm related to Thomas Hooker, the general from the Civil War, who is fabled to have originated the term hooker when women were following him around as a part of the Civil War. He was a Union guy, so
damn.
I don't know if that's real, but that's
on
my dad's side. That's kind of family lore.
I was able to find. He might not have been. I was able to find a piece from Isha of Historically, the podcast, where she traced Tom Cotton's genealogy, and the earliest Tom Cotton relative, John Cotton, died in 1741 and bequeathed his enslaved persons to his children. In North Carolina, it seems.
Oh, okay. So he's just from a more slave-friendly part of the colony.
Right. Yes. Yes.
He's
slaver-friendly, I should say. Yeah, I really don't think so. I don't think this Thanksgiving thing, I think that's elitist, honestly, and I think that's perceived as, first of all, it originally was, right? This is the whole New England is better than, you hillbilly North Caroliners. I don't think that's what Trump's doing.
Yeah, I mean, the scary aspect of Tom Cotton is he's a legitimate fascist, not just a bumbling one. So the fact that he's definitely running for 2020 in 2024, I mean, he was campaigning in New Hampshire for Donald Trump, 11 days before the election, and was meeting basically with Republican bigwigs and saying, yeah, this is definitely for Trump's reelection for sure. When clearly he's laying the groundwork for 2024. But I don't know if I see him getting that far in the primary either. It's just the prospect that he could is terrifying.
Yeah, I agree, but I just think his the way he delivers his personality, his charisma. I mean, I can't imagine the Republicans I mean, that's basically what I'm going on here, because that's clearly what matters to a Republican Party candidate. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it.
Bye.
Also, Tom Cotton, he was a columnist when he was at Yale, and all those are still online. And there's a funny one where he basically says the internet's not going to really amount to much.
I love those. I love like people like the insufferable Republicans like Ted Cruz and Tom Cotton, who went to Ivy League universities and then tried to characterize themselves as these like populist, people, leaders of the right or whatever. It's
amazing
so badly
with
done.
Holly too. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, Cruz, like you're telling me that guy's like really actually goes hunting, please.
This is a clip for another day, perhaps, or when you're at home. But there's an interview that David Bowie did in the 90s where he predicted not just what the internet would become, but like social media. He knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, man.